celebration in the past, but
Yeah.
San Diego this time, huh?
Yeah, poor us. We got to go to San Diego
Yeah.
to open up, but it's exciting whether it's Hawaii or San Diego or here in Eugene. Just looking forward to getting it started and see what this journey takes us to.
How much do you think you'll be able to gauge about your team through one weekend?
Well, it's better than scrimmaging, because now they're playing for real, and we've got we start 9 guys, and we've got the support group in one dugout rooting for one team. It's not pitchers against hitters or team A versus B, and we think we like our personality and the competitive personality when you go against any team as one team as a different dynamic. And then of course it's one thing to excel when you're scrimmaging and fighting for a job, and then they start playing for real, and let's face it, they start taking statistics. That's what changes. My win-loss record, my ERA, my batting average, runs scored. Those have an impact on statistical-based baseball players, and hopefully they can stay with the process and allow the winning and losing and batting average and ERA to take care of themselves. That's the process we suggest, but young players, first time through, don't always take the suggestions of experienced coaches, so we hope they do.
Are the position battles coming down to the final day, or do you know who's starting on offense for you on Friday night?
Yeah, we know. We're not. We think we know. We're going to post that today. We actually had intended to post it Monday, but I think it's a tribute to the depth of our team, the battles that we have, that we didn't chicken out. We spent hours upon hours of deciding what's the not necessarily the 9 best players, but the best 9. In other words, the best team, the best chemistry, how they complement one another, who deserves it, and the responsibility of a coach is to represent the athletes and who really deserves that first crack at things. And hopefully the kids that we've selected, we get it mostly right. It functions, but my experience tells me that the lineup the next month might be a little bit different, and that's a tribute to the guys on the bench that we have.
We're going to see some true freshmen starting?
Yeah.
Are you willing to name that now at all, or you want to wait till that's released?
Let's see what Friday's lineup bears, but our shortstop's going to be a freshman. I'm not afraid to say that. Travis Mignot will be our starting shortstop.
Wow. So how long are you okay with tinkering with lineup and testing guys in different places before you want to try and lock it down?
Well, you hope to be all that solidified by the Pac-12 race in the conference. And, each and every game counts quite a bit. RPI and trying to establish an RPI going into conference, and then the rigors of the Pac-12. And I think it's fair to say we'll be tinkering with a little bit all year long. You don't want players looking over your head. You want that continuity and comfort level, and where I'm hitting in the batting order, and what pitching roles are going to be established as we move forward. And but I think on any deep college roster, you're going to have guys in and out, not necessarily platoon, but hot guys and cold guys and injured guys and those type of things, and you're going to have to get into your bench. And you can't go through 56 plus games and expect that the first 9 guys are going to play and maybe 6 or 7 pitchers are going to do all the pitching. You're going to use your entire roster, and so I'm proud to say that we have 34 guys, and we all think that we can win with any of those 34 guys.
What do you see out of Travis, and then does that with Munoz, and then does that move Karabotis to third?
Yeah. That Mark's going to start at third, and Mark's had a tremendous 2 years here, and we think he's flexible enough to move over to third. We think it might be simpler for the freshman to play a position he's accustomed to. You like to have your most instinctive or some of your most instinctive talkative players in the middle of the field defensively to get ahead of the game, so to speak. And beyond physical ability, Travis has shown an ability to be a quick thinker and transfer information and be in the right place and take the defensive scheme and run with it, so to speak. Not that Mark did a poor job, but we think Travis functions very, very good in the middle at playing shortstop, and that's one of the reasons, even though he didn't crush the ball all fall and in January, that he showed up on the defensive side of it. We think he's going to be a fine shortstop.
Pruitt over at first?
No, it'll be Phil St. Louis will be the first baseman to begin with, and that's a little bit of a different from him playing left last year. And we've had revolving door first baseman up to this point, and I think that's one of the things we'll continue to look at. Kroon, you mentioned the name Kroon, is a brilliant freshman that has not, to this point, will not be starting on Friday, but he's right in the mix, and we think his future's tremendous.
And he played first, third. I was recruited
First
to
and third, yeah.
First and third.
Played short, some in high school, and he competed a little bit at shortstop, but most of the time at third base. And we think his best position here in college is a third baseman. I think that's what he'll play professionally as well.
And then veterans in the outfield with Goldfarb and Graybeck.
Yeah, Goldfarb in right, Graybeck in center, Balta in left.
Balta, that's right.
And Stephen Packard will be our DH. And Stephen's had a tremendous year, and unfortunately his throwing arm's not back to being 100%, so he's locked into that role, and he's had a tremendous fall and spring so far.
The review from your guys on Crook on Saturday was a pretty good final show. What do you seen out of him going in, and is there any pitch count, any limit? What do you expect to see from him?
I haven't really thought through, okay, is it going to be 80 or 90, but he's in shape. You know, he's built his arm up, he feels good. He had a couple hiccups or speed bumps, so to speak, in his performances early, and each and every outing that he's had in practice has been better and better, including his best one was his very last one. So he's a pretty special guy, and hopefully he continues to feel more comfortable as the season moves along. I think our starting pitching has all these accolades, but I think we'll see them at their best probably midway through the season, hopefully right in time for Pac-12 conference race, as we talked about.
What type of challenges does an all-lefty rotation present to an opposing lineup?
Well, the matchup right-handed hitter versus right-handed pitcher, coaches worry less about that at our level than they do the left-left matchup, simply because, how many Matt Crooks or Cole Urbans or David Petersons do you see when you're a left-handed hitter in high school versus lefty? So it's just comfort level and kids seeing that. At the professional level, it's not quite as imposing, so to speak, because they've seen those good left-handers, and it's a good luxury to have when you're running three left-handers out there. And of course, we put the pressure on them. Maybe some of their better hitters might be left-handed hitters, and they don't match up very well against left-handed pitching. So when do they start? If Oregon's going three left-handers in a row, when's that good hitter have a chance to play until you go into the bullpen? So those are the type of things that are an advantage. And of course, the game of baseball in general is a little bit of a left-hander's game. Left-handers don't throw the ball straight like right-handers do sometimes as pitchers. And if you're a left-handed hitter, hitting the ball to the right side of the field is a good side of the field to hit it on in some cases. And so a step closer to the base, all those kind of things that having lefties pitching and hitting on your roster is a good thing most of the time. Sometimes you don't have enough right-handed hitters if you overload on the left-hand side. So balance, I think, is what everybody's kind of striving for.
Talk a lot about starting rotation you guys have, but don't talk a lot about the catcher you're thrown to. Tim, what's the development been like
It's been
this summer?
Spectacular. Coach Martyr's our catching coach. I said to Tim yesterday, he's actually, I'm blessed enough to be the Team USA coach this summer. He's on our board to be the Team USA catcher. That speaks volumes. He has one of the potentially the best in the country, and he had a subpar year offensively last year, and he's a whole different guy in the batter's box, and he's borderline dominant as a defensive catcher right now. I allowed him to call his own game sometimes. He calls a brilliant game. He's pretty much stopped the running game in our scrimmages and blocking the ball and leadership, and he's really matured under Coach Martyr's tutelage a tremendous level, and the other two guys aren't too bad either. Slade Hagan and Braden Stutzman are very, very confident backups to Tim.
Parker Kelly, pitcher, hitter, what?
Mostly a pitcher to start with. Yeah, we've been very impressed with Parker on the mound. He's behind the many others as far as at-bats are concerned right now. That doesn't mean it's over with, but came in as a two-way guy, and his role is more prominent as a pitcher right now.
Out of the bullpen?
Yeah, out of the bullpen.
Who do you see there? I mean, you've had Styles, obviously, experience, and Nuggets the closer. Who are some of the guys that fill in those 6th, 7th, 8th inning?
Well, going into the season, you kind of need a bridge guy more than later in the season because of pitch counts and so forth. And I'm going to start with Kyle Robinall and Isaiah Carranza. Both freshmen have been spectacular. I think in a lot of college programs, they're starting in the weekend. They've been very, very good. So we're going to have both of those guys available as long relief guys, the top two long relief guys going into the weekend. Of course, Steven Nagosic, Team USA closer last year. He's had two really good years as the 8th inning guy for us, and he's going to be our stopper. And then it's a mixed bag of matchups probably with Cooper Stiles, who's had experience. Cole Stringer, a freshman left-hander that is tough on left-handers. Jacob Bennett, a freshman from Tualatin, has been very impressive. And Matt Mercer from Washington's been very impressive. Nolan Chromefly, McKinley LaFour. I mean, we've got 16 guys that we feel like we can run out there and get out. Some are more prominent than others, obviously. And so it'll be Nagosic at the end of the game, and then a combination of Cooper, Stringer, and Kelly and Bennett to bridge there with Carranza and Robinall being long guys.